for someone else. They don't need to focus on something that doesn't involve them and their life. And whoa, what the fuck do you laugh? Why do you laugh? I can't speak English.
No, it's not you, it's me. Hey guys, it's Eric Osa, and I am back with another video. And this time I'm with my friend that I met here on my trip to Germany, my friend Federico.
Hi everyone.
Yeah, he's from Italy, and we decided to make this video. And this video is based on young people, their voice, and the power that their voice holds. We had a very interesting conversation on the topic of this video, so I said, hey Federico, you're a smart guy, you have interesting views. Well, how about we made a video and put it out on YouTube, and got this to 1 million views and made you a very famous man. And he was on board with it, so that's what we're doing right now. So okay, my first question for you, Federico, was, do you feel young people realize how powerful their voices really are?
So first of all, I would say that it depends so much from the context where they live in. Context.
No, context.
Yeah. And from the parents they have, the friends they have, the teachers they have, the schools they have, the places where they are living. So we can't say to anyone that it's their fault if they are not getting into politics, into nowadays problems and ideas. But it's important to say, in my opinion, that nowadays, unfortunately, our young generations, we are part of that, aren't too interested in politics, aren't too interested in ideals, aren't too interested in ideas of European Union, of international associations, and so on.
Yeah.
Why? Because first of all, I think that they just think at the life that they're spending every day. Maybe in Italy, because I'm Italian, I can talk about Italy. Italy is not a poor country, and I live in the North Italy, so it's richer than the southern Italy. And people have what they want. So why a 16 years old boy or girl has to think about others, about poor ones, about people that don't have the rights we have, and so on, and make many problems on their lives just thinking about other ones.
Yeah.
And the answer that I would give to them, if they ask me something like that, I would just say that we are not alone in this world, that there's someone that needs something else that we don't have, that they don't have, sorry, and that we have.
Yeah.
So we just take the part of Robin Hood. Do you know Robin Hood?
Of
okay.
course.
And we have to give to the others our experience, our visions of life, our ideas, and everything we can share, we must share. And I also think that another problem of young people is that they're influenced badly about Italian politics, obviously speaking.
I'm going to get onto that because I asked you the kind of introductory question, which is pivotal because we're talking about the power of young people's voices, and you absolutely took that question away. Your answer was really well structured. I agree with everything you said, and I'm going to get onto politics, and that's something that I hope to touch on because I feel there's a stigma when it comes to young people approaching politics and becoming politically active, when there's stuff that we think and there's stereotypes that we have in our head of that genre in regards to interest. So we're going to touch on that soon. But my next question is kind of two things that we touched on our conversation about the youth and our voices. One of the things you kind of spoke so eloquently about to me was young people not being informed enough. The people from the older generation are not teaching young people enough when it comes to their voice and their power. It's almost like they don't want them to know. That's what you said to me. So do you want to kind of get into that and explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, you said they don't want to know. Nowadays, always talking about politics, maybe you can just do also the other question, because I can answer with both those questions just with one answer. So
Yeah,
maybe
of
you
course.
can just ask me the other question you wanted to ask me about politics.
Okay, of course, of course. Well, I'm getting owned in my own YouTube video. I'm getting bossed around by an Italian. But yeah, no, that's okay. That's fair, of course. Yeah, my question about politics was, why do you feel young people are afraid when it comes to getting involved in politics? Because in Ireland, and from my experiences, I'm not politically active. I'm not aligned to any party. I do like knowing what's going on in the world because it's going to affect me. It's not necessarily because I want to be a politician, but it's simply because I know I want to know what's going to affect my life. So why do you feel young people are afraid to get involved and look down upon it when it comes to other young people getting involved generally? And I'm speaking from where I'm from. Is it the same in Italy?
So yeah, it is the same. Maybe it's worse because in Italy we have particular government now,
Yeah.
and people love our government. Young people love our government.
Sadly.
Not all of them, obviously, but they mostly like it. Why? Because it's a government based on hate, based on silly things, based on basilar things that anyone can understand, and that anyone can talk about them, and anyone can talk about them because they're basilar things and basilar ideas, and anyone should have an idea about that, and it's good. It's good, but we can't do the politics, the old politics made of basilar ideas. I mean, we need economics. We need yeah, a good
Yeah.
economy. We need good schools. We need good hospitals.
I
We
agree.
need everything. We can't just say I don't want immigrants because they steal our job.
Yeah.
I don't want Roms because they steal our houses. I don't want foreign people because they steal our money,
Yeah.
and so on. I
I
mean,
agree.
we just have to focus on the thing that we have to do, and then we have to focus on the others that attack us.
Yeah, I understand.
So I mean, but this topic of doing a war against other ones, maybe not as lucky as us, is something that is so trendy,
I agree. Trendy.
in Italy,
Yeah. Okay.
and people like that because they feel that they are into that, and
Young people.
yeah, and this idea is spreading so fastly, and people, I mean, I mean, they are doing of these ideas the better ideas of their lives, and they are growing with those ideas, so they don't have the possibility to change them because the base is based on those ideas.
Yeah. So. I
And
think I don't mean to cut over you, and I agree with everything you're saying. You're basically talking about the hate and extreme, maybe just extremist views by people in Italy towards people coming in, and the lack of acceptance when it comes to
Yeah.
immigrants and people coming in, and just
not for all of us, obviously,
course.
but for many of us, because
Yeah.
now the government has the 40%
yeah.
of agreement.
Yeah, no, that's the problem, and I agree that it is. But do you think young people, because where I come from, it's a place in Ireland. I feel young people maybe by getting politically involved. I mean voting. Using their voice to do good, using their voice to change. Letting their opinion be heard. Do you feel so? In my area, I don't see that very often, and I think that's the same for a lot of places in Ireland, according to my friends and what they say. But do you feel there's that stigma or fear that young people feel when it comes to using their voice to vote or to make a political change?
Maybe afraid? No, they're not afraid. Maybe, but they just know or think that the things that they would be afraid of don't exist.
Mm.
So there are not things to be afraid of, because they just are afraid of the the topics that are the base of the hate that the government spreads to us every day.
Yeah.
So they just think that they don't need to get involved. I mean, yeah. So they just think basically that the government has its own politics, has its own people, so they just don't need to go against it because they voted for it, And on the other side, there are, yes, guys that are of the opposite parties, but there are, I mean, newspapers or medias don't give them, in my personal opinion, the importance that they should need.
Give the young people.
The young people that are against our government or against the ideas of our government.
Yeah.
There are many strikes or manifestations.
Okay.
Yeah. That happen in Italy. I don't, not every day, but every week.
Okay.
And they don't talk about it too much because maybe they are afraid of those little group of people that don't want these ideas and this government.
Interesting, very very interesting, and I think you delved into politics in Italy, and the situation, not so much politics, which is interesting. It's funny because in Ireland, when I'm talking about young people not getting involved, I mean young people being scared to get involved because they don't see it as cool, or they don't see it as sociable, or it's not trendy, or it's not something that their friends will admire them for. I see it, and I see that in Ireland, and it makes me sad because I feel young people should be enthusiastic to make a change in their society, but there's no better way to make a change than speaking about what you want to change. But in Italy, you touched on the type of government and the type of structure and the feeling of hate, and you're talking about young people getting involved to support the government, and the young people that don't get involved are scared to because the government does not give them the platform to use their voice or does not empower them, which is very interesting. The contrast between Italy and Ireland there is very interesting, and it's not the answer that I was expecting. Yeah, my next question is it touches on something that you raised. Do you feel people from the older generation, I think I touched on this previously, but do you feel people are letting young people know how important their voice is, how important it is to speak your mind, and helping them realize that they are the future? Do you think in Italy are people giving young people that power, or not?
Well, it's in the same way easy and difficult at the same time. Difficult because it's difficult to let them change their mind because the proposals of the government are so strong, and they think that the laws and ideas of the government are credible because they think that have been debated from so much time, and they seem credible. I have to say it. They seem credible, and they are so good at let them see credible, appear credible. But on the other side, I think it's not too hard to let them change their mind to young generations because nowadays social media are so important, and if someone that has a big influence on social media, a big power on social media, begins talking about these topics, maybe something will change. It's so easy, it's so stupid, but that's maybe what we need today in 2019.
I agree. I think our influencers actually need to influence for good instead of for bad, or influence for good instead of for likes or for shares or for retweets or for popularity. It's better to be popular for the right reasons than the wrong reasons. And the right reason to be popular is one that involves letting young people know how powerful their voice is. And I repetitively mention that because it's so important, and I don't feel enough young people know. There shouldn't be a fair when it comes to voting in an election. There shouldn't be a fair. You're voting for someone that's going to make a change for you. There shouldn't be a fair when it comes to voting in a referendum. When it comes to letting your voice be heard, there shouldn't. So that's something that I really, really agree with you on. And again, it's really interesting to draw the comparison, the difference between Italy and Ireland. Italy, I feel it's government, and there's so much, things that you see there that you don't like in society that draws young people to the bad end, but also suppresses young people's voice because they don't want young people who are against the government to speak. And in Ireland, it's more so, in my experience, young people are scared to be different. And letting your voice be heard in a political way, or when it comes to social change, is different from certain areas in Ireland. I think in general, I wouldn't say that, but from where I come from, a small town, that's kind of how we think. In the city, it's not like that so much. But yeah, that's really it. My last question for you would be, What do you want to see change? How do you want to see young people use their voice in the future? And what is your message to young people at home watching this video on the television?
It will be so easy. Just talk to the other people, talk to people that have more experience, see how the history has changed us and what has taught us, and always think about the past, walking into the present, but looking at the future.
Yes, that's what I say too. If I was to give my message, it would be know the power of your voice and make sure that you know the power you have. But also, before you make a decision, look at your history. As Federico said, look at where you've come from. Look at everything now and how things are going on. Then make an informed decision. But I just want to say, I just want to put this out there that young people's voices are the ones that are going to be leading tomorrow. So you need to understand that, and once you do, you will value your voice, and you will. If you're not a young person, you will value the voices of the young people. So, yeah, thank you very much for listening to us speak for a while. We'll sign off in Italian. So, how do you say bye in Italy?
Arrivederci a tutti.
I'm not even going to try. Bye.